Hello, I am slowly recovering from my cold, thank you for asking. I have finished decorating the room next door and the tractor is dead. If you don't know what that's about, check the links below to see my blog post. What am I going to be talking to you about? Well, I'm doing a lot of talking at the moment. I want to keep the videos flowing. Talking about WoW. This is Thrale's Guide to Blackrock Depths, level 52 to 57. You see top left there. I'll put a link in the description below, and I hope he doesn't mind me using his footage because Blackrock Depths has some great memories for me. It wasn't my favourite dungeon. It was my second favourite dungeon. My first favourite dungeon being Stratholme. Really liked Stratholme, really liked everything in it. I like Scholarman's too. It's kind of a toss-up between those two. Scholar was one of those places where I would spend a lot of time trying to get the Valor boots, and I never, ever got the Valor boots till I ran it on my hunter, and then I won them by greed. So that's my experience of classic WoW, of the original vanilla WoW in a nutshell. I spent an awful lot of time in there, in that world. People could ask me a question and I would know the answer. I did lead a small guild. We didn't raid. We didn't do anything majorly over the top, but we did have fun, I think. I think the biggest problem that there always was that gossip moment of you need to gear up the healer and the tanks. You need to do that so everyone else can get their other stuff. But there's always more of those other people wanting other stuff, and they don't appreciate that as the tank you're fishing and potioning and crafting and bandaging, and you are trying to get everything you can for everyone else. Ditto for healers. It was just a dearth of trouble. Had a really good healer, had a really good off tank with me, so Chaplain and Nightwisp, if you're out there, hi guys. So why Blackrock Depths? Why did I like that so much? Well, it's actually because of Chaplain. Chaplain rolled himself a little gnome rogue, a female gnome rogue, and yeah, Chaplain, you're a little bit nuts, aren't you, mate? So what he did was he found that he could go between the slotted windows on this floor that you see here and drop down to the lower floor, completely by accident. There was the five of us resting up after fighting these groups down the corridor. So there's the corridor you come along to go left to right, and you come out into the gallery above Lord Incendius. And sure enough, there's this little voice, guys, what? I fell out the window. And he'd fallen out the window and landed on the next floor below, still in stealth, with all those patrols going past. I can't remember the name of the giant boss at the end of there. So he was behind a locked gate through the bottom door, so we couldn't get to him easily. And we couldn't fit through the window. So our solution was to backtrack all the way to the beginning, clear the little bit of bar area, the watch area, and get through to him through the locked gate. Luckily, I had the key. Again, as the tank, I had every key I could possibly get, every attunement I could get. I needed to run these things so we could open the doors. And these are just things that other people didn't do. And if they did do it, they kept it incredibly quiet, so we never knew what they did. And I suppose that's why I'm avoiding Classic. It's not that I can't afford it. I have actually just had a little bit of a bonus from work, so I can afford to subscribe if I want to. But I think that's the problem. I'm paying for something I've already lived. I haven't just played WoW Vanilla. I lived it. I'm now myself 10 years further on. I stopped playing WoW over 10 years ago. And I've dabbled with my own private servers, and I've dabbled with the multi-boxing stuff, which I'll talk about again in a moment. But I can't see a reason. There's no fear of missing out for me. I won't be missing out, except on the social side. And on the social side, I found the vanilla WoW PvE server, Thunderhorn, to be either really cool or really acid. It was never a good mix of the two. And so I have no fear of missing out on it. I don't feel like I want to go through the potential struggle to play that content again. But part of me is saying you're missing it. But I don't fear that I'm missing it. It's like, well, I'm not, because I've seen it. I've done it. I've done it all. Does that mean I want it to change? Does that mean I want Blizzard to release more stuff? Does that mean I want, a Burning Crusade? Does that mean I want a Vanilla 2.0? Not really, no. I think the World of Warcraft story went wrong. I think Cataclysm was wrong. I think some of the introduction of random islands was wrong. I did actually like Northrend. I liked that island's introduction. And I again, with the crew that we had on Thunderhorn, it was an adventure moment that we got on this new ship and set sail for distant shores. And we landed in the Borean tundra. And it was a really good moment. It was a really fun thing. The problem with those expansions were as I said, many years before on Shut Up We're Talking, I was a guest speaker, on Shut Up We're Talking 77 or 74 with Darren. Hi Darren, if you're out there. And yeah, I said that the biggest problem with any expansion that Blizzard make of World of Warcraft is the exponential inflation on item level, damage levels, health levels of mobs that are gonna, segregate the experience. So we very much have had 10 years since I stopped playing of people having big numbers. I mean, I remember 1,000 crit was, oh my god, 1,000 crit. It was unheard of to have, a 2,000 crit. If you did, it was like you were massively potioned up, you were, super geared up, and you were like a mage, and you got a massive crit on, like, a pyroblast or something. They were the only massive hits. And so to see now, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 point hits, it's like, no. The inflation is rife. Perhaps Classic is a knee-jerk reaction to that. It's one of those situations where they had something that worked and proved it worked. It became not only, the all-encompassing answer to MMO RPG, but it was almost like it became part of the culture. It was part of the pop culture. There was the infamous South Park episode. Everybody knew WoW. I mean, I saw people that didn't even play WoW would stop saying LOL and would reply KEK. You may have to be an Alliance member to understand that one, but that's literally what we got. I had people text me Kek rather than LOL for years. So yeah, no fear of missing out. That's the problem. What I miss is the people, and I'll never get those same people back again. I'll never have that same camaraderie, and I'm too busy being a husband and a business at work and traveling abroad for work and decorating rooms to give the time and effort that it needed. And it was time and it was effort to stay competitive and do these things. Personally, I was a solo PvPer, so I changed from being a PvE server to a PvP server, leveled up a whole new character, and went into the world. In fact, I leveled up 3 new level 60s on that PvP server before Burning Crusade came out. And I did them in record time. I did them quicker than one other person leveled up a hunter in PvE, because they didn't need to. They felt no pressure, because there was no pressure on them, because other people were carrying this can for them. And yeah, you can say it's a game, but it became a life. I'm at pains to say a second life, but I really did feel part of this world. And the fact that it's gone, the fact that it went, the moment that dark portal opened, kind of put it to bed for me. So back to how I emulate things. I've used the Mangos project, the C Mangos project, continued Mangos. How have I looked at that? Well, it wasn't really to play the game. I've looked at the server side to look at the technology and understand it, to where I wanted to play about with improving it. And of course, to do that, I needed lots and lots and lots of really connected clients. That intimated the need to write the multi-boxer. So I needed, in one case, I have this 12-core machine and another 12-core laptop, and I have an 8-core laptop, and they were hosting 250 connections at the same time. Yes, on my LAN, but they were hosting those connections, and they were doing the jobs. It was a technical challenge. Anybody that saw my multi-boxing videos, you'll see there were comments like, "This is a lazy player." Anything but. I was a person on my own in my own server, and if I'd have used the bots built into the software, I wouldn't have been exercising that part of the code I was looking at, which was the connectivity, the networking, the messaging, the time to connect. You've all just experienced, or anyone that's playing classic WoW with Blizzard, you will all have experienced them. I don't know if they did this tongue-in-cheek, but you would have experienced the massive queues on launch night. Anecdotally, I've heard queues of 10, 11,000. That's exactly what would happen when the original vanilla servers crashed. They would crash, and you would be stuck in space, and then you disconnect, and then you'd sit in a queue of 4, 5, 6, 7, 13,000 people trying to reconnect to your realm, depending on how popular your realm was. I was on quite a popular PvE realm at the time, so you would literally be, you would not put yourself in Ironforge. When you wanted to log on, we actually based our guild out of Menethil Harbour, so we were one flight away from Ironforge, but could go north to Scarlemance or Stratholme easily, and back and forth. So we halved into Menethil, and then we could choose to fly into Ironforge and take the lag hit or not for materials. But there was enough vendors of the right types in Menethil that everybody could pretty much get re-geared. I think except for a druid when we got him later, and he needed to go into Ironforge. Thinking about it now, we should have based ourselves in Dalaran, because Dalaran was always empty, but it was always at least one flight and one ship away from everything, and quite long flights. And as we were concentrating on Skollo and Stratholme, it made sense to be in Menethil, where we were close enough to just fly north that little bit. So that was my vanilla time. That's my thoughts. I don't feel I'm missing out. I don't fear missing out on classic, so I don't feel any pull back to it. If I want to play vanilla, I can fire up C Mangos, I can have a play. There just isn't anybody there with me. I'm in these echoing halls, and I suppose that's what it should be for me. It's part of history, and these halls were my favourites. Anyway, that's me rambling for 15 minutes. If you are interested in how I did the C Mangos stuff or anything else, please comment below. If you want to know anything about my adventures, or if you remember me, please let me know. Bye-bye.